Welcome to IDK!
Because we don't know either.
Today we're talking about adult things and adulting. We're talking about adulting.
Adult video.
Oh, we are not.
There are 5 of us, and we are on a bed.
And technically we are all adults and this is a video.
Yeah, so we're not wrong.
Let's do it. Yeah.
If you can go back and tell your teenage self one thing, what would it be?
Don't date boys. Because you're gay. It's gonna be hard, but you have a future. Oh yeah, that you have a future.
Your theater major is not a waste of time. It gets you places.
Follow your gut. If you feel deep within that something is wrong or that you should be doing something, pray about it, talk to your loved ones, and then go for it.
You're not gonna marry your celeb crush and it's gonna be fine.
What's an inspirational quote that keeps you going?
Panera bread. Gets me through all my hard times.
I think I saw it on Instagram once, but everything is figure-outable. Because it is. You'll figure it out. If I can figure it out, you sure as hell can.
Timing is a real thing. A lot of times things don't work out when you want them to work out because the stars aren't aligned and maybe the person you want to be with isn't in the right place to be with you, or maybe the job that you want isn't where it needs to be for you. And it's all just timing.
Time will pass. Whenever I feel like I am never gonna get out of a situation that's bad, it's always gotten better. Like, you know, I actually have like a 100% success rate at staying alive.
What is your greatest fear and what is your greatest wish?
One of my greatest fears is like being in a pyramid and like getting caught in one of the ancient Egyptian traps where the walls are slowly closing in and they have spikes. And so that you know you're gonna die and that you're gonna get impaled by spikes on both sides.
That's scary. Also quicksand.
Yeah, quicksand is really scary.
Yeah.
My greatest fear is that nobody will like me. I think that I've gotten a lot of the things that I've gotten in life because people liked me. And so I keep thinking like, I just gotta keep up the liking me train. I'm very afraid of making people unhappy with me, even though like making people unhappy with you is kind of a part of life. Not all people are gonna like you.
I don't like being alone. I think that's my greatest fear. I don't like being left out and ignored, and the thought of going through something major in my life and having no one by my side is terrifying.
I think mine is personal. I think I'm afraid of never being a mom.
That is something that I'm scared of too, that like for whatever reason, I'm not gonna be able to like have children, and so that's something that does scare me.
Scary.
Because it's something that I've like always wanted since I was very, very young.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like your greatest fear and your greatest wish.
That's
Right.
Jen, you're right.
My greatest wish is that all my student loans would go away.
Fuck yeah.
What do you love about yourself?
I've always liked that I'm a curious person.
Person?
I like that I like learning about things because it's been helpful.
I think my drive has really gotten me to where I am.
I have the ability to withstand a lot of garbage, and that has carried me through.
We've all kind of like converged in this like one space, and so I think that we all kind of have some like similar traits.
Yeah.
Because if I want to do something, I'll just do it. You don't really need to ask permission for it. Especially if you do it and you succeed, people are gonna be like, how did you do that? Let's all do that, rather than, that's amazing, you shouldn't have done that.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we all see the world differently, but I think I've kind of a wacky lens in how I think about things, and I kind of like that about myself. I like that I am always thinking of the most offbeat way to do things.
If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
One thing I would change about myself is just being more patient.
You don't seem impatient.
Really?
You
No,
just
you
seem
don't.
like determined.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
Yeah.
I'm glad I give that off.
Yeah.
I wear my heart on my sleeve. I hate that about myself. I am very emotional and emotive. I wish I could be a little bit more reserved, so I could have the cards closer to my chest so people didn't always know what I was thinking.
I would love to not have sensitive skin because it makes trying new products and doing anything like that very difficult.
I'm always like, how can I be better? How can I achieve more? How can I get a better thing? How can I have better relationships? How can I have better plans? And it's really hard for me to just be happy with what I have. Being able to just kind of sit back and be like, okay, this is pretty cool. That's so hard for me, and I'd like to be able to just do that for once.
In high school, what did you picture your adult self would be like?
It's hard to picture something that's like so far outside yourself.
Right.
Like even in high school, it's hard to picture college. In college, it's hard to picture after college.
When I was in high school, I thought that I would have kids and be married and be in a house in the suburbs. Very different from what my actual life is. Sometimes part of me does wish that like that was the case, but I think 75% knows that like timing is on my side, and like I'm doing awesome things and I feel really good and I'm on my own and I'm in a really cool city and I have great friends.
I thought I would be in a band.
Really?
Yes.
Like what kind of band?
I don't know. I don't play any instruments.
All I knew is that I wanted to be creating stuff on my own. And so I think I just kind of like pursued the path towards creation, whatever that looked like.
How do you survive when you first move out?
You have a time where everything is just up in the air and nothing makes sense and you don't have any plans or any job or any real like place to live, or in your life just sort of a nebulous mush. And then slowly but surely you kind of tick things off and it's like, okay, I found people to live with and a house and a job and I have friends. You just sort of slowly acquire a life. It just takes a while.
I moved from New York City to LA, and I had been living on my own before then, but that was the scariest move because I have no family in LA. I have just a handful of friends in LA. I have more now, but when I moved, I only knew like 3 people. I think that's one thing that really made me say to myself, like, this has to work out. Like, I don't have a choice. So like, Freddie, get your shit together, work hard, and make it happen. You know, it felt like a movie, you know? Just like
Freddie, how Freddie got her groove back.
yeah, exactly.
The most important thing is that you have like a safe place to go to sleep at night. It doesn't have to be nice, it doesn't have to be fancy, but it just has to be like safe and like okay to be in.
Cities like New York, they're like a river and they kind of take you in that energy, and then LA is kind of like a pond and you kind of have to learn how to swim. So you just kind of have to find your own city within your group of friends, within your own little network. And just kind of like Kristen said, it just takes time to tick things off the list.
Adulting is crazy. Everyone kind of has their own certain paths. If you keep working hard and keep grinding, everything kind of evens out, and then you might even
Yeah. You might turn into a bubble.
Great advice.
turn into a bubble.
Adulting is a marathon, not a sprint. And when you cross the finish line, you die. So really, there's no rush.
Take your time.
Yeah,
And also too, if you don't adult well, you can always go back to Chuck E. Cheese,
you can.
where a kid can be a kid.
You want to go eat some chicken
Yeah,
and go to Panera?
let's go to Panera right now.
Yay!
Let's go.
You
Bye,
could
y'all.
too.